time, and it depends on many factors. If there is an improvement to make the technology effective, and we should also see that there is a reducing cost of new technical development due to completely use of new machines. So when power looms are being introduced, there is a change of new machine instead of hand looms. And when there is a change in the type of raw material used, means see earlier the baskets were weaved with the use of bamboo sticks. Now with the change in the use of raw material, the baskets are made out of plastic and paper. Assembly line method of production. Children, this method of production, it is introduced by Henry Ford of USA, and he has started this assembly line method of production. So in this production process, the manufacturing of a good, it is break into steps. It is a production process that breaks manufacturing of goods into steps that are completed in a predefined sequence. It means that, see, when the work is divided into different components and they are allotted to different laborers, then all the intermediate components will be assembled and they will be made into a finished product. So this is how the manufacturing of a good takes place in the line method of production. So this Henry Ford, he has introduced this process of production in manufacturing the cars. So they were able to produce more cars and very quickly, and this led to mass production in factories. And there is also a huge increase in the output of cars in the market. And due to technological changes, new products or new way of producing the same good has come into existence. So with this, what happened is new jobs were created. See, in order to produce a machine, we need the raw material. So what is the raw material required? Like iron and coal. So the people who supply these raw materials, they are provided the job opportunities. And not only them, the people who use these machines, even these people also, they were given job opportunities. Cars and buses, they are produced by using iron and steel. So when these cars and buses are being produced, there is a high demand for drivers, mechanics and petrol stations. But when these new things are being invented, what people done, you know, children? Most of the people, they are afraid that they would lose their jobs. Why? Because in place of workers, machines are being installed. One more example for this is cars and buses are produced with iron and steel. So this led to the demand for drivers, mechanics and petrol stations. So with these new inventions, most of the people, they were afraid. Why? Because they thought that they will lose their jobs when the use of machines. But people are afraid that they would lose their jobs by the use of machines. In 19th century in England, many textile artisans, they protested against the new power looms which would replace them. And another invention, children, the use of combine harvesters. This is used in agriculture, and this machine is used to harvest the paddy, and it will also do threshing and winnowing. So when this machine is introduced in agriculture, many people protested this. Why? Because they thought that they will lose their jobs. And even when computers were introduced also, people thought that they will lose their jobs. But you know children, when some jobs are being lost, new jobs will be created. So technology has a great impact on different sections of the society in different ways. Now children, we will see how the technological changes took place in agriculture sector. At the time of independence, agriculture was traditional and most of the farmers, they produced paddy, wheat, vegetables, cotton, etc. And they used to depend on rainfall. And they also got irrigational facilities from tanks and rivers. Most farmers were able to cultivate only once in a year. Why? Because the availability of irrigational facilities is very low at that time. And the implements which are used by the farmers are wooden plows, sickle, spades and crowbars. And these people, they save the seeds on their own for next season. Whatever seeds they get by harvesting, they used to save them and they used to sow for the next crop children. And they also use the bullock carts. So these are used to transport the goods for plowing and for other agricultural operations. And farmers, whatever agricultural goods they have produced, they used it for self-consumption only. It means that they have produced which is sufficient for their family. And only a little bit which is left over, it is sold in the market. But after independence, government has taken initiative in building the dams so that it could provide irrigational facilities to almost all the farmers in the country. And it also encouraged the use of tube wells and diesel and electric pump sets. These were also used to draw the water and provide irrigations to agriculture. Water was made available to farms for continuous irrigation, and the government provide seeds from the research institution. So these are the seeds which give high yield. So these were available to all the farmers by the government. And fertilizers and the pesticides, they were also sold by the cooperative societies or shops in the market. So this facility was also provided by the government. And the farmers, they are encouraged to buy and use new agricultural machinery such as tractors. So now children, we will see what is the impact of technology or what happened by use of technology in agriculture sector. So children, what happened? There is an increase in the production of food grains and other goods, and the farmers, they were able to yield more in the same area. Means the land is same, but they were able to get more crop, and the production of food grains such as paddy, wheat, cereals and pulses, they have increased 2 times. Twofold increase in the production of food grains. So you can observe this in this bar graph children. So the production of food grains in India in the year 1961 and 75, it was 101 million tons of food grains were able to produce in our country, and in the year 1991 to 2009, our country was able to produce 229 million tons of food grains. It means that the production of food grains has increased by 2 times. So we can observe in the bar graph. Now children, we will see what are the changes in production process. So there is a use of agricultural machinery, and this has changed the total production process in the agriculture. Now the farmers, means after inventing of the machines or after usage of the machines, the farmers, they were able to cultivate their farms twice a year, and there is an increase in the employment opportunities for the laborers. Why? Because when the farmers used to go for single crop, they had work only for 3 to 4 months. But now, as the farmers are going for twice a year, they were able to get employment opportunities for longer days. And with the introduction of agricultural machinery, the daily wage labor arrangements are preferred than annual arrangements. So earlier, a labor was engaged for the whole year, but now because of the agricultural machinery, when there is a requirement of labor, then only that particular labor is being employed. And the agricultural laborers, even they are ready to work for the farmers who will pay better wages. Whoever pays good wages for these people, they are ready to work for those farmers. But the agricultural laborers, they did not had any assured employment. It means that they didn't had regular employment. When there is a requirement, then only they were called for work. And the laborers demand more wages at the time of transplantation and harvesting of the paddy. Nowadays, large farmers, they prefer to get work done using machines. You know, children, why? Because they have a large farms. They have more acres of land. So if they employ laborers, it takes them lot of time for them to complete that work. So that is why they prefer to use machines in their farms. And agricultural laborers, they gained some work, but most of them, they lost their traditional jobs. And tractors, they are used for transport and many agricultural operations. Minor tools are used in plowing, sowing, weeding and harvesting. They underwent a lot of change, and small farmers, they are unable to use the modern agricultural techniques. Why? Because their land is very small. So in that small piece of land, they cannot use any modern agricultural technique. So they look for employment in urban areas. So that is the reason they migrate to urban areas, or else they used to work in others' farm for the rest of the year. And there is a less usage of animals in agricultural operations in India, children. See, the usage of animals in the year 1951, it was more. But when it came to 2009, the use of animals has declined, and the use of electrical and mechanical machines have increased. So it means that there is a tremendous increase in the use of technology in the agricultural sector. Use of combined harvester. So this combined harvester, it is used to harvest the paddy, and it takes less time, and it also reduces the crop loss, and it will help the farmers to tackle the labor shortage, and it will save the crop from vagaries of weather, especially in coastal regions of Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. So there is a case study on the use of combined harvester in 2003. So in this case study, the farmers are able to save 1 quintal of grain per acre, which would have been lost during the manual harvesting. And this combined harvester operators, these people, they charged around 1100 to 1400 per hour, and the large farmers who own this combined harvester, they were able to earn money. The large farmers who own a combine harvester, they earned money by hiring the combined harvesting machine. And now we'll see the working of combined harvester. It will harvest 1 acre paddy field in 1 hour, and if it is done manually, 5 agricultural laborers are required to work for 4 to 5 days. And if 10 laborers are employed, work will be done in 2 days. So if there is a village, and in that village there are 250 agricultural laborers, and there is 1000 acres of paddy, the work will be completed in 55 working days, and the people has to work for 18 hours every day. But with the use of this combined harvester, what happened, you know children? Each of the 250 workers, they lost 80 days of employment. Extensive farm mechanization, it leads to displacement of laborers. It means that in place of laborers, machines will be used. And the agricultural laborers and farmers, they had to work on others' field. Why? Because they have lost the jobs by use of these machines. And people have to move from villages to cities and towns for migration. And this use of machines, it has changed the nature of work which is done by the agricultural laborers. They started driving the tractors for various agricultural operations, or irrigate the fields using the pump sets, and they use sprayers, applying fertilizers, and they work with harvesters and threshers. In many towns, workshops were established to repair agricultural machinery, and this led to creation of new jobs, but this did not provide employment on large scale. So let us recapitulate what we have learned in this class, children. So we have learned what is technology, and we also have learned what are the uses of technology, where it is used, and how the industrial revolution brought changes in the methods of production. And we also have learned about the Henry Ford methods of production, isn't it? So it is the assembly line method of production which has been introduced to increase the production of cars, and this method of production is also used in manufacturing of other different products also. And we also have learned about the technological changes which took place in agriculture, and we also have learned what is the impact of agriculture. We have also learned the impact of technology in agriculture sector. Now children, there are few questions. You please try to answer them. So the first question is, Narahari, he has created a list of activities where the technology is not used. So do you agree with him, and give your reasons. So the options are: while singing a song, whether this activity requires a technology or not, you give a reason. And while cooking idli, for this activity also whether a technology is required or not. And while making garland for sale. The second question, children, changes in technology, it leads to changes in job opportunities. So do you agree with this statement? If you agree with this statement, you give a reason why. And the third question is, locate the places England, USA and India on a world map. Children, I hope you all have understood the lesson. So for better understanding of the concepts, you please solve the worksheets and visit the SIET website. Thank you, children.